You can't appreciate how far you've come without first taking time to stop and reflect. And today we're talking about how far you've come. We're talking about what's been going on over the last 92 days. That's right, we've had mindset changes, we've had growth, we've had improvement, we've changed fundamentally how we think and fundamentally how we behave. So we're going to spend some time looking back to see where we've been and how do we use where we've been to move forward. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. I'm so excited that you're here to join me for another episode of my 100-day walk to consistency. We are on day number 92. Let's go ahead, let's get started. I'll see you on the walk. So we are in the final stretches, y'all. That's right, we are in the final stretches of our 100-day walk to consistency and health. But before we sprint to the finish, we want to take a time, we want to pause, and we want to look back. And that's what makes this moment so inspiring. That's what makes this moment so powerful, because it allows us to stop and think about the journey that we've been on. Think about the progress that we've made. I remember when we celebrated our 50th day. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. It was just so exciting to know that we had put in the time that we needed to get to that point. And now to think back that it has been 92 days, over 90 days, right? And we are still going. That each day you've spent time, you've taken the time to put in to do what you needed to do to be successful. Remember, each time that you show up, each time that you come, each time that you say yes, you're saying yes to a better version of yourself. You're saying yes to a more resilient version of yourself. And you've done that. Now, it has not been easy for some. I'll tell you, there are some things that I had to do, some things that I had to change, some thoughts that I had to have, some places that I had to go. But it has been well worth it to see in myself the growth and the changes that have happened. And so as we think back now and reflect on those things, this is an exciting time. It's about recognizing how far we've come. It's about acknowledging the places where it was uncomfortable. It's about seeing what is possible, what has been possible, and understanding that we have not even scratched the surface of our potential as yet. That we still have the capacity, we still have the ability to continue to grow and continue to evolve and continue to move into a space before that some of us didn't think we could move into. And we didn't understand what that was like. We didn't understand what it took. And we didn't understand the fact that we had the ability, we had the capacity to do those things. Because we had always probably told ourselves that we couldn't. And if we didn't, other people may have said that to us. But we now understand that that is not the case. That is not the truth. And that we are able to make changes for ourselves and to be successful. So as we've walked this path, we want to honor that. We want to honor the people around us that have allowed us to grow and even encouraged us and cheered us along the way. We want to honor the history that brought us to this place. Because for some of us, this was not just about this was not just about, hey, I just want to do this thing. It was about needing to do this for our health, for the places that we found ourselves, for the complications that may have been going on in our lives. And so we needed some rhythm. We needed to find what am I about? We needed to figure out what the alignment was. So we had to figure out the goals, the journey. We had to know, well, what is my thing? Right? What makes me me? What is going to be the general tenure of my life? and then putting structure to that. And once we were able to get those, rhythm, alignment, and structure, then we saw that growth that became unstoppable. And we are seeing the growth that continues to be unstoppable as we're moving through this space. So we want to make sure that we know that this isn't just about us arriving somewhere, but us looking at the things and the places that we've been and saying, okay, how do I honor this and continue to move into a space that keeps me going in terms of my success? So why is reflecting critical to the path that we're on and critical to growth? Well, you can't grow forward, you can't move forward without looking back. Oh yeah, you can't go forward without looking back. To understand several things as we're looking back, to understand the places where we have changed, so our mindset. Where are those places where we were that we thought were places that we were stuck? Like, we can't get over this. We're never going to be able to move beyond this. We're never going to be able to see any benefit. We're never going to be able to see the successes that we have seen. We thought that was it. So where are those places? Let's look at them now. Let's evaluate. What was it that was keeping us there? What was it that brought us to the place where we thought that we couldn't do better? So that's the first one. The next thing is, what has worked? What has been those things that we have put into place? What are the procedures that have worked? Right? And we've talked about refining, we talked about growing, we talked about expanding. So what are those things that have worked? Yeah? and how do we make those better? What are the things that have been some challenges? Why were they challenges? And is there a way to take that same thing and refine it and create a process that works, right? So we're not just looking to see, well, okay, I've gotten to this place, but what is the procedure? What is the process? What was it that helped us get there? Because that really is going to be, as we're looking to the future, that's going to be the thing. Those are going to be some of the things that help us move in that direction, right? So reflect on, and then we want to talk about how external things have affected us. When we said that limitless living says that we're not allowing anything from inside or from outside to affect us, to make us not do what we need to do. So limitless living says that we've got to then evaluate what's outside and evaluate what's inside. So what are those external things that have affected us? How do we extract meaning from the path? And in order to do that, we're looking at those things outside of us. We're looking also at those things inside. What are the places that may even now still be a little tender for us? Yeah, we gotta look at it. Now we are, and let me say this, I guess I should have said this at the beginning. In reflecting, this is not just about you necessarily just puffing your chest up, right, and patting yourself on the back, right? This reflection is not just a casual kind of ethereal process that we're going through. This is, we're talking about moving. We're talking about getting to a different place. We're talking about heading to a higher level. We're talking about expanding and growing. And if we're going to do that, then this has to be a structured, analytical, this has to be a process that brings value, okay? So what are the lessons that we can extract from where we are? So that's why it's important for us to reflect, because when we do that, it allows us to extract meaning from the experience without looking back, without assessing, without reflecting. The lessons, the wins, the growth, the expansion, even the struggles, right, might go by without any clarity, without us understanding. And so if that's the case, then we are slated to do what? That's right. We're slated to repeat it. And we don't want to repeat those lessons. We want to learn and we want to go. Right? We want to learn and we want to keep going. And so we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do so that we can get the best out of the things, the journey that we've been on. So looking back is not about judging. It's not about being depressed. It's not about regret. Looking back is reflecting, evaluating, analyzing, extracting, and it's also about understanding. So understanding the journey, because sometimes understanding the journey itself brings elucidation and brings the power to push forward. One of the things I'm walking here in the parking lot right by our office, and we've been here before. We've seen some of these stores, and one of the stores that I see right in front of me as I'm coming by is a place called Fresh Market. And one of the things that I want to do in the future is really talk to some of these locations and see if they would allow us to come in and do like a shopping episode. But anyway, so that's, see, you guys are hearing me talk, hearing me process and think and plan. Just waiting for these guys to go by. So what do we want to reflect on as we near the finish line? What are some of the places, some of the things that we want to reflect on? And you heard me kind of mention some of them briefly, but we want to reflect on the habits that we've built so that we can find out what we need to adjust and what we need to strengthen. So we want to reflect, one, on habits. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. That is the acronym for triggers, right? The habits that we have, the routines that we formed, because our habits, those are our behaviors. Those behaviors shape the actions that we take, and the actions that we take ultimately give us our result. And so if we have good habits, if we have constructive habits, if we have habits that are efficient and habits that are have become a routine, then we get success. Maybe you walk daily now. Maybe you plan meals on a weekly basis. What is it? What have you done? How have you created the habit? How have you created that structure? Right? You want to honor that. You want to honor what it took to build that. Right? Because it was a struggle for many of us. We had to learn. We had to learn how to shop. We had to become more organized. We had to maybe change our finances around so we could buy in bulk. We had to change our storage at home around. Right? So a lot of things had to go into that. So we want to honor that. And as we are looking at that, what else can we do? How do we make that better? So remember, we're always honoring where we've come from. And when I say honor, it is not that I am, because there are some difficult places. Let's pause right there. There's some difficult places that many of us came from. And so when I say honor, it's not a paying homage. It's not saying, oh man, that was great. It is understanding that if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be where we are here. The pain that comes from that drove us here. The illness that we saw pushed us in this direction. It was a necessity for many of us. I told you the story about the whitewater rafting. Like, I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know where I was going to end up. I didn't know where the rapids were going to take me, and you didn't know where this journey was going to take you, but you knew you couldn't stay where you were. So as I think about the process of being on that raft during that whitewater experience, I'm not excited that I fell out, and I don't say that, oh man, that was a great thing. But what I do say is that if it weren't for that, then I wouldn't be where I am, right? So you guys are getting to see some of the stores that are in this area as I'm walking around now. I don't think we've done that before. But we want to look at that. We want to honor, right? We want to look at the habits that we've built, the habits that we strengthen. Then we want to look at the challenges, right? What challenges did we overcome? And how did we overcome them? Not just that the challenges were there, but was the process that we went through to overcome them? Because that is instructive, right? Because if I overcame that, I could use that same process, that same procedure, I could use those same skills to come through and get through what it is that I've done when I need to get through some other stuff. So it's not just, oh yeah, I came through it and then boom, and it's done. It's no, okay, what did I learn? What did I have to do to come through that? What did you push through that you used to avoid? What did you have to address? How did that change your thought process? How did you grow as a result of that? I'm waiting for these cars to go by here. Right? So how did you grow? Because if it's just casual reflecting, then there are tools, there are lessons there that we potentially will lose access to if we're not careful. Did you keep going through stress, setbacks, or seasons that would have caused you to quit in the past? What? Honor that. And you think about it. There were conversations that you would have avoided before. There were things you would have let happen before. But because now you have grown, now because you have adjusted, right? You push past those. And it's a non-starter now. I don't have to process it. I don't have to think about that. In fact, there's some responses that come out of you right now that surprise you. Because before you would have perseverated about it, you would have gone back and forth about it, you would have felt bad about it, all that stuff, right? All that mental anguish, all that mental energy that you would have put in. And now it's a natural, right? This happens and I behave in this way because it's no longer just something that's external to us. It's no longer that this is just something I'm thinking about doing. It is a part of who we are. We talked yesterday about the fact that the person that you are now, the person who showed up, the person who's here on this 92nd day is not the same person that you started with. It's a completely different person. And so now, as we're looking at those places, those challenges, you are now behaving in a way that is uncharacteristic of you, of the old you. Oh, let me say that. It's uncharacteristic of the old you, but it is totally and absolutely in character with the person that you currently are. Right? So we're looking back at that as well. What are those things that we have to overcome? What beliefs have you had to let go of, or what beliefs have you had to pick up? How have you had to change? There were some preconceived ideas that you had. There was some limiting beliefs that you had, some reasons why you said that you couldn't do things. There were some things that you believed about yourself that are not true, and you have had to adopt new thought processes. You've had to adapt to those. You've had to say to yourself, no, that's not how it is. That's not how we're gonna go down. That's not true about me, right? I can't do it. No, that's not true. I never succeed. That's not true. I can never finish anything. That's not true. All I have and all I can be is what is right here. That is not true. All right, so what are those beliefs that you have had to dispel? And then what are some ideas that you had to pick up? That I'm capable. I'm sufficient. I'm resilient. I'm able to overcome. I am an able problem solver. I am a critical thinker. You have to pick that up. And those are things that have happened over the last several weeks, over the last 92 days. I said weeks, but yeah, 92 days. And by the way, good place to say that, on on the episodes, we've broken them up into weeks. So you can go there and you can watch those. But did you keep going? Did you keep going? Often our biggest transformation is internal. It's not in the structure. It's not in the external. It's not in what people do. It's in the fact that we internally are different fundamentally than we were before. Right? So you guys are getting to see all the places around me here. And then what wins can you celebrate today? This day, that's right, 92. What win can you celebrate today that you didn't think you were going to be able to celebrate? You've made it 92 days. You've been walking for 92 days. Your weight's down. Your blood sugars are better. You saved some money. You have a procedure in place. Your rhythm, your behavior is in rhythm with what your North Star statement is. You have a structure that you've put in place that now makes things automatic for you. You don't have to process. You don't have to think about it. You get up and you do it. I remember when I first started my channel, my YouTube channel, and I had my stuff in my equipment in my study. And so whenever I needed to do a video, I would go into the study and I would set up the camera, I'd set up the computer, I would pull out the background, whatever it was that I needed, and set it up. And then when I was done, to keep the study in order, I'd break everything down, put it away. Next time, I'd go pull out the camera, set it all up, and go ahead and put it all together. I'd do my video, and then break it down. Well, each time I needed to make a video, it was a chore. It was a task to get everything together, to get the study in the place where I could do the video. What happened for me was that when I changed, when I made things in the study permanent, I was able now to just walk into the study, turn on the light, the cameras that were on, get on the computer, and just start shooting. And so the process of creating a video became automated. It became simple. It became a non-starter. So that was no longer a place that I had to spend time processing. I didn't have to go through the process of doing that anymore. I could now spend my time coming up with the content, shooting the video, and just be done. And so you have created some routines. You've put some things in place that has been transformational for you. And so that's a place to celebrate. Did your A1C go down? Did you become more mindful? Did you lose weight? Did you gain strength if you've been doing strength training? Show up for yourself in new ways. Don't let that be the thing that stops you, right? And celebrate that. Put a pin there. Get some noisemakers. Get some music. Get some friends. Hang out with them. And just celebrate what has been going on with you. Growth is not just about the big wins. It's not just about those grandiose things that we say have happened. It's about the consistent showing up, even when no one else, even when nobody else was watching. There's some days where people were like, well, I'm not sure what they're doing. Nobody was watching, but you showed up. There were some days where you didn't feel like being there, but you showed up. There were some days where you were tired, but you showed up. There were some days where you didn't even understand yourself why you showed up, but you showed up. And that is amazing, right? And that is something to be celebrated. That's a win that you've had. All of these are things that we want to look at, things that we want to evaluate if we are going to be successful in our journey. And it is about evaluating. Once again, I want to say that it's not about judgment. It's not about giving blame. It's not about criticizing. It's about how do I move as I'm looking back to the things that I've done. And so why is transformation more than an external change? That's a good one. Why is transformation more than external change? When we talk about external change, we can pick up habits, or we can pick up things that we do. Let me say it that way. But because they are not a part of us, because it's not who we are, they take energy, and it takes little to stop us from doing it. But when there's an internal change, when it is fundamental to who we've become, then the energy that it takes to keep that going, not much. The amount of things that it takes us to stop doing it is huge. So there's that big momentous thing that has to happen to push us off. And we are excited about what we're doing because it is fundamentally who we are. Growth is who you've become. Oh, yeah. You are not just a person who walks, but you are a walker. You're not just a person who is controlling blood sugars to be healthy, but you are a healthy person. It is fundamental to who we are. The words that we use. The person who is not a person who's trying to be fit. I am a fit person. I would lift weights. I am strong. I am. Not I want to be, not I'm going to be, but this is fundamentally who we are. So that's why the internal change is better than the external the internal transformation is better than the external change. Number two, transformation means you see yourself differently. When we see ourselves differently, the words we use are different. When the words we use are different, our meaning that we attach to things are different. When we have a different meaning, we have a different feeling. The different feeling brings a different emotion. The different emotion brings a different behavior. Different behavior brings a different habit. The different habit brings a different result. And all that comes because our thought process, our vision for who we are is different. And that comes when there is transformation and not just external change. This journey wasn't just about steps. So transformation says you see yourself differently. It wasn't just about steps. It wasn't just about walking. So you thought it was a walking video. You thought it was a walking episode. You thought it was a walking 30 minutes. Now walking was a mechanism that was used to build structure. It was a mechanism that was used to bring consistency. It was a mechanism to use to bring mindset change. It was a mechanism to use to build resiliency. It was a mechanism that we use to build resistance. It was a mechanism that we use to bring self-confidence. It was a mechanism we use to bring motivation. It was a mechanism that we use to talk about rhythm, alignment, and structure. But it wasn't about the walk. No, it wasn't about the steps. It wasn't about the rowing. It wasn't about the swimming. It wasn't about the strength training. It wasn't about the yoga. It was all about the person that we are creating. Oh, yeah. I want you to get that. Right? I want you to understand that the walking was just a mechanism. It was an end. It was a means to an end. It was not the end in itself. And the truth is, you're no longer the person who started walking. You're wiser, you're stronger, more aware, more consistent, more resilient, more self-confident, more motivated. You are a completely different person. And that is what it was all about. It was about creating this version of yourself, creating this person, putting this person on the map, and building this person. Next, you've proven you can change, and that changes everything. Oh. This one right here, I probably should do a whole episode on this. So you've proven that you could change. And the fact that you've proven that you could change changes everything. Because before, you didn't think it was possible. But now you know, if I could change anything. If I could change, I can grow. If I could change, I could learn. If I could change, I can be better. If I can change, I could be more consistent. If I can change, I could show up for myself every day. If I can change, I could change how I eat, I could change how I walk, I could change how I sleep, I could change how I interact with other people. If I could change, it changes every single thing in my entire life. And that is the benefit of looking back. This is how we do it. Transformation means knowing that we've done the hard work. We've done what it takes. We've shown up for ourselves. We've shown up for ourselves. And we can do it again. Been there, done that, doing it again tomorrow. You got that? Because when you look back and you see where you've been and you see what you've done and you see the changes that you've had, then when you look back, you say, man, I've been transformed. I'm not just doing some stuff. I'm not just checking off the boxes. I'm not making external changes, but fundamentally, I'm a different person. And when you change yourself, when you understand that you've changed, that changes every single piece of everything else. Man. Oh, dare I say it? Yeah, I'm gonna say it. One of my favorites, one of my favorite conversations, reflecting, not just about whimsically thinking back, not just about theoretically thinking back, but practically looking to see where we are, where we've come from, and how best we can use what we've learned to move into the future. All right, well, you know, we can't ever leave without doing our challenge. Just go ahead and grab your journal, and I want you now, as we're moving through these last several days, I want you to continue, right, building the journal. If you have to go back and look at some of these lessons, and you have to go back and you have to review, you have to write, you have to process. I want you to make sure you're doing that, right? Because at the end of this, that journal that you have, yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's your playbook. It's your playbook for being successful. All right, so let's go ahead and let's grab our journal. And what I want you to do is I want you to write a letter to your day one self. Say, dear day one Dwain, I've been thinking about you. And here are some things I want you to know, right? What would you say to your version of yourself who is just starting out? What would you do? What would you say? What would you tell them if they were just starting out on day one? And here you are on day 92. I want you to go ahead and begin writing that letter, right? Writing that letter right now. And we'll turn around so these people are not in my shot. Okay, let's do it that way. Here we go. Right? All right. So we're writing a letter to our day one self. I want you to also list the top 3 transformational wins you've experienced. So you can write the letter. I want you to complete that letter. But at the bottom of that letter, I want you to write down, these are the 3 top transformational changes that I've had. These could be physical. They could be emotional, mental, spiritual. Could be relational. Remember the domains of health? Yeah, just go through the domains. Where have you changed? And what is it that you can list? I want you to write those at the bottom of the letter. And then I want you to describe who you are today in one powerful sentence. One powerful sentence. I am a consistent, purpose-driven person who honors my health, and I honored my word. Because I showed up. Because I'm here 92 days. Other people working. So who are you? Write that statement. Be there. Be that person. Because that's who we were created. Reflecting is about honoring. Reflecting is about learning. It's about extracting. And reflecting is about setting ourselves up as a springboard to that next space. Thank you for joining me. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. I'm glad that you're here for another episode of my 100-Day Walk to Consistency. Thank you for being here. This is day number 92. We're coming back on day number 93 tomorrow. I'll see you on the walk. Remember, we're educating, we're empowering, and we're encouraging you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you tomorrow on day number 93. We'll see you on the walk. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. And as we approach the end of our 100-Day Walk to Consistency and Health, I want to pause and invite you to look ahead. Because what we've built together is just the beginning of an even more powerful journey. Over the past 100 days, you've developed a habit. You've developed resistance, resilience. You've developed strength, and things that formed the cornerstone of your success. Now, as we close this chapter, I'm excited to share that our next series is on the horizon that's going to build on everything that you've learned so far. In the upcoming series, we want to dive deeper into advanced strategies that harness your newly cultivated strengths, refine your mindset, and elevate your strategic thinking. Imagine transforming daily consistency into an unstoppable force that propels you to tackle even greater challenges with confidence. My vision for the next phase is simple: to empower you not only to sustain your current success, but to channel it into innovative strategies that drive you past these impacts that you've had to more lasting, more fulfilling impacts. We've explored how to leverage your inner strength and channel it into areas of leadership, creativity, and advanced personal growth. And we're going to go further. The habits you've formed are the foundation on which you can build a life of limitless potential. Every lesson, every win, every setback during the past 100 days has prepared you for what's next. Think of today as a bridge where the consistency and the discipline that you've mastered become a stepping stone towards a future when strategy meets mindset. In the next series, it's designed to help you integrate these principles to every aspect of your life, making your progress both sustainable and exponential. I invite you to stay tuned and actively participate as we embark on this new chapter. Reflect on your journey so far and consider the way that you can take these lessons to the next level. Let's step into the future together. Thank you for being part of this transformative journey. Your growth, resilience, and commitment are what this community needs. Get ready to embrace the next series, where your strengths, strategy, and mindset will propel you to even greater heights. Stay tuned, and I'll see you as we begin this exciting new chapter together.